Hi, I'm Khushboo Razdan, and this is Foreign Correspondents Talk Series 2024. I have with me my friend Jukka, who lives in New York. He's a Finnish journalist based in the United States. Jukka, thank you so much for making time and joining me. First of all, if you could give a brief a brief introduction of what you do in New York, what organization you work with, and what is the type of reporting that you do in the United States.
Yes, hello, and thank you having me here. Yes, my name is Jukka Lehtinen, and I'm from Finland, from Helsinki area. I work for the Finnish financial newspaper called Kauppalehti, which in Finnish means like a business news. You can say it more like that. And it's a biggest financial newspaper in Finland. And of course, my main attraction is finance and economy and especially stock markets and things like that. And I have worked there like 4 years now, and one year in here in New York as a
Mhm.
correspondent.
I see. So first, I want to, ask you. I ask this question to every journalist I interview on this program. What made you, want to become a journalist? You come from Finland, and I don't know much about Finland. So if you could tell me how you decided to become a journalist in Finland.
Yeah, I always have a joke that when I was in high school, I always dreamed to be a journalist, but I was thinking that I'm too stupid for that. So, but when I start to be a journalist, I understand that it's not a deal breaker at all. And uh, I have a huge interest in the journalism all, when I was young, but I start studying as computer science and later economics. But in the end of my my studies, I start to work in the newspaper, which was covering as IT sector, and I was more like their finance and business journalist. And after that, I also changed a little bit my major in university, and I get my master degree in journalism in later. And I also studied in China 1 year in China.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, it was more like opportunity what I took when I have it.
Mm-hmm. And how was China like? Because I cover China. I would love to hear your experience. How was China like for you?
Uh, I think it has changed. I lived there in the end of the 19th. I just left there like beginning of the in the spring in 99, and I was
Mm-hmm.
there only like 1 year, and it was very exciting, and it was very different place than in Finland where I have lived all my life. But in the later on, I have thinking it was a little bit more open than it feels to be in the last 10 or 15 years, and that is my experience ideas what I when I remember my time when I was studying in the China, but it was a quite short time.
Mm-hmm. You grew up in Europe, and you started working as a journalist in Europe while you have traveled all over the world. I wanted to ask you, how has your upbringing in Europe kind of influenced the kind of journalism you do, or even you see how do you see the profession? How does it influence you as a journalist and your journalism?
Yeah. I'm yes, in Finland and also in the other Nordic countries, the newspapers and the news agencies are quite highly respect, and
Mm-hmm.
the people are reading and trusting the media like most of the people, and it's also a little bit like in our value that the the news, and we have like a public radio, and we have trusted big newspapers and things like that. So I think it's that it's maybe the audience has a trust for the journalism, so it's maybe I can say that it makes the work a little bit easier, that you don't have to fight every day that saying that showing that you are doing the right thing and we have the rules of the journalism and things like that.
So when did you decide to move to the US? When did you move to the US?
It's the same thing that I started as a journalist. I took the opportunity. It's we have here in New York a correspondent, also in Stockholm, Sweden, and also in San Francisco. And we have this rotation that it's always like 2 years and 1 year option. And when the place get open, of course I apply and I get the job.
Do you like it here? How is life different here? Finland is cold, I hear, but how is life different here? Do you like it better?
It's different, and it's well, life has everywhere the upsides and downsides, so you never can say it's better, but it's very exciting, and it has been very, how do you say, eye-opening to see, like you can follow this country, this huge country in here in New York, and also I had traveled also quite a lot in USA.
In the US, yeah, because I remember for the first time we met when the NATO summit was happening in Washington, D.C., and I remember you were traveling from New York, and you had forgotten your laptop charger, I guess. Was a laptop charger, and then I think you bought a new one. I think we are all we're leaving our chargers everywhere.
I did find a new one, better one.
Okay, I want to ask you. You have you said you have traveled a lot, and so. How many years in journalism have you spent in total?
How long I
have been a journalist? For how long have you been a journalist?
I started in '99, so it's almost 25 years now.
So
actually it's going to be 25 years in the beginning of November.
Congratulations! That's your that's 25 years jubilee. I wanted to ask you: are there any memorable moments that that you still remember? That you traveled or you covered something that you still remember, when you talk about your work and your work experiences with, say, your family or fellow journalists?
I haven't had any big challenges or like that. Usually they are with the traveling with the airplane delays or things like that. But the very nice thing about this work is that you have access. You can have access like quite the places where you're normally not going. And in the beginning of the 2000, I was I was working in this kind of engineering newspaper, and then we have a lot of. I traveled a few times into Russia to see nuclear power plants. And also, I remember one trip to northern Norway, where it was so amazing to see the nature there, and we was in the very far in the north there, and those things like places you never forget that when you have been there, and also of course this year has been a very special because of the elections and the national conventions and especially the first in Iowa when the Republicans we were traveling there, and there was a huge blizzard, and even I have traveled quite a lot in the winter time in Finland. It was still quite awful weather to drive all over the Iowa to see all of the Republican candidates.
I wanted to ask you, were you here in the US during the 2020 election, or this is your first US election?
this is my first U.S. election in the as a covering. As before that, I have only with the news. I'm not so much about the political politics that this is a little bit learning experience for me.
So, since you are a global reporter and you cover finance, I wanted to ask you over the years, in 25 years, how do you think journalism has changed, even in terms of global reporting?
Well, it has changed a lot, and well, the biggest change started in the like in 2000 when the more and more the internet. Now you have access you have easy access to almost every newspaper and news agency and news easily. You can easily read any newspaper in the world, almost every, and also it's getting tougher and tougher for the media companies to make decent profits. So that's always means that there is a layoff in the editor's stuff and things like that, and also that there's in the other side the competition is getting less, but in the other side it's getting more because there's more this kind of not so necessarily not journalistic news sites and social media things that so you always compete with the people's time, and nowadays there's so much other things that people want to read or watch than the news.
Instagram Reels and TikTok. But my
Yeah.
last question to you, you said that journalism has changed so much over the years. Would you recommend your next generation to become journalist? What would be your advice to aspiring journalists?
Of course, I recommend it. This is very fun job. So it's if it likes and if you are interesting about the world and what happens in the world, and you like to tell it to the people, this is absolutely the best way to do it. Well, if I want some advice, it's always good to travel a lot and good to read a lot, and not only news and magazines, but also like non-fiction and fiction and everything, and keep your mind open for to the world.
Exactly. That's really good. That's really good advice. And I do that same. I try to do that whenever I get time because I don't have 25 years of experience in journalism like you.
Yeah, that's a problem, but you solve in time.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Yuka,
Yeah.
for sharing your thoughts and insights and your journey with us.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you whenever you are in DC or I travel to New
Oh,
York. Lovely,
yeah,
chatting with you. Definitely catch
absolutely.
up for a cup of coffee soon.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.